A wise man once said, do not buy the 10.5-inch iPad Pro. And the same person is here to tell you again, to not buy the 2020 iPad Pro. Let's get started. So if you've been living under a rock, then you might not know that I have the 2020 iPad Pro. If you didn't know, well, you do now. And if you did know, then it might be quite trivial to you guys, thinking, why would I tell you to not buy the product that I have? And I made a video about it, saying how good it is. So, what changed? Well, nothing changed. The 2020 iPad Pro is still great. Everything I said in the video still applies. However, there's going to be a better deal soon. This is the 2020 iPad Pro. As you can see, it has the accessory, the Apple Pencil 2, and the Magic Keyboard that costs an absurdly high amount of money. But the iPad Air 4 is coming out. If you have watched the original video saying why you shouldn't buy the 10.5-inch, then first of all, thanks for being here since I had like 40 subscribers. But also, you would know that I told you to buy the 3rd generation iPad Air instead for the same price. Now, this time, it's not going to be the same price. The iPad Air is probably going to be $500 or $550. The iPad Pro, on the other hand, costs $800 or 1,050 Canadian dollars, which is what we have here. That's a lot. So let's talk all about the iPad Air 4. What does it have? What's the features and what's the drawbacks? Why should I choose it over the iPad Pro? First, let's talk about the downsides of the iPad Air 4. It's been rumored to not have Face ID, which is one of the most defining features of the iPad Pro. Also, we've heard that it might not have stereo speakers, and it's probably not even going to have the ProMotion display of 120 Hz. So all of those drawbacks, why choose the iPad Air 4? Well, hear me out. Let me just tell you all of the leaks first. It's not going to have Face ID, but it's still going to have a full screen display like the iPad Pro. It's going to have a fingerprint biometric in the power button so that you can still unlock it pretty instantaneously. Sure, it's a little bit worse, but hey, come on, you're saving a lot of money. Also, it's still going to have the same chassis as the iPad Pro. It's still the same thin profile. And not only that, it's going to fit in this Magic Keyboard. So if you just look, this keyboard fits this iPad perfectly. But if the iPad Air 4 is the same chassis as the iPad Pro, then it's going to fit that as well. So it's going to fit. That means you can use all of the iPad Pro accessories with the iPad Air. So the Apple Pencil, the Magic Keyboard, so that's just a huge deal. Also for the iPad Air 4, sure, the display isn't ProMotion, but it's still going to be the best display that you can get on an iPad that's not part of the iPad Pros. That's also really nice. So let's talk about what features it has over the iPad Pro. Well, first of all, it's newer, which means the chipsets might be newer. Hear me out, okay? There's some leaks suggesting it might have the A14 chip, which has a higher single-core score than the A12Z Bionic. So it might be faster than the iPad Pro, but I think that's not going to happen. Apple doesn't seem like the type of company to have a cheaper product outperform the most expensive one. So I believe Apple's still going to use the same old A12 Bionic chip in the iPad Air. That's a year old, 2 years actually, but still fast, especially in an iPad with more power. That can outperform almost my phone, which is the iPhone 11 Pro. So same chassis, same design, newer. That means that Apple will support it for longer, even if the chipsets are a little bit slower than before. That means you can get years of support, from 5, 6, maybe even 7 years. It's going to be an amazing deal. So this is why I'm telling you to hold off on getting the iPad Pro and waiting for the iPad Air 4 to come out. It's been rumored to come out this October, which is in a month and a half. That plus everything and all of the price savings you get will be an amazing deal. So don't buy the 2018, don't buy the 2020, get the 2020 iPad Air. I hope this video made sense. I don't want it to be that long, especially that our last video was 15 minutes. So that's it. Click a video on the screen right now, please. I have merch now, so you can check the description. That's about it. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and don't forget to drink water. I need some water.